Welcome back to Exhausted Reviews, where I'm exhausted and I make reviews. And today we have two banger shows coming up. First off, we have to absolutely talk about Mushoku Tensei Season 2 premiere. Alright, first off, man, this was kind of depressing. This was a little sad. This episode is almost like, I almost want to say it's kind of like a recap episode because it's kind of just Rudy getting back into his groove and kind of just when we left him at the end of the last season, he was like, I'm gonna live for me or whatever, and then like now he's like kind of back to being sad again. Looks like he's aged too. He looks at least like a year or a few months older than when we last saw him, which was great. Obviously, we watched the episode 0 last week, and we saw silphy kind of come into her own story, and now we catch up with rudeus, who has been traveling. He's doing a lot of traveling right now, and he just so happens to be with some people, and some very very friendly people actually, honestly. And he ends up meeting this group. I forget what they're called. It's like the counter arrows or something, but that's the leader right there. Her name is Suzanne, and she seems pretty cool. Then we have this girl right here. She has done nothing but give Rudy a hard time. Honestly, I feel like that's I'm gonna spoil it. I haven't seen the show, but just going off everything they've shown from this girl, this has to be his sister. How is this not his sister? It doesn't make any sense for it not to be your sister. They're giving us all the clues. Rudy is sitting here watching her. Yeah, she's mad at him, but also I feel like she's mad because he wasn't there to protect him. Not like he actually did anything. So she's just kind of being like that kind of like anime girl tsundere vibe. So what's basically going on here is that I feel like Rudy has found his sister, doesn't even recognize her because it's been so long. I wonder if she even recognizes him at this point either. So, and she's on the cover of the anime. When you see the anime in the thumbnail, she's on the cover of the thumbnail. So it's like she's got to be important to the story. She looks just like his sister. She looks just like him. She has the same eyes, and the hair color too is pretty similar too. So it really comes down to them probably, most likely, being related. And even Rudy is throughout the episode, he goes on, he's like, man, he's just like her. Man, he talks like her. Man, she even does this just like her. So like, I don't think Rudy has realized that he's looking right at his little sister. But because a lot has gone on, a lot has happened since Rudy. You know, he did go on a grand adventure, tried to get back to his city, ran into his father, and realized that like things are hard out here. Things are difficult out here. It's not gonna be. It's never easy. It never was easy. Rudy has always kind of been in another world because of his, literally, because of his condition, we'll call it. So he never really got to grow up to be a normal kid. He's always just been like a little dude. So he didn't have the best relationship with his father. He was scared to go outside, and now it seems like he's kind of at the beginning of this episode, he had let himself fall into the slump of loss. He was decided he was going to take those losses, and just he couldn't really find a reason to keep going. Thankfully, we see him. He ends up getting a nice room at the hotel. He's got hella money. He disbanded Dead End, which was sad to see him get rid of Dead End. And you know, the party is disbanded obviously because Ruijerd is, I don't even know where he is, dude. Honestly, I think he went his own ways, and Eris obviously just banged him and left in the middle of the night. She literally ghosted him. So it's kind of, he's kind of been, I can see why he might be in a bit of a rough headspace at this point in time. It makes sense. What we really see from Rudy here is a bit of his tenacity. He's still willing to go out and do things and work with other people. It might have taken him a couple days of mental buildup, but he is still willing to work with other people. So he's not fully gone yet. He makes friends with the other mage, and while they're doing battle plans, Rudy, not revealing his full strength, is like, well, maybe I can help pick people off. And she's like, nope. And he's like, well, maybe I can cast buffs for the party. And the little girl's like, nope. And he's like, well, I want to do something. So basically, he realizes that like they took him along on this party to go hunt bears, partially because they want their archer to stop being such a little baby. She's kind of a meanie, and she doesn't work well with new people. And she seems to have something against Rudy too. So they're there, they're chilling, they're cooking, they're camping. It seems like something is going on here, honestly, because they're here just chilling, right? They're literally just chilling, and then all of a sudden, the bears basically just start coming. Right now they're going over the game plan. Like the second the sun starts to rise, the bears come out. And this was a good scene too. This was a scene, Rudy right here being super depressed. It really shows you where he's at in the story right now and how much he's gone through. And he's acting like he's lost everything. And well, technically they're lost in the sense that he doesn't know where they are. They are potentially still alive. He does still have, there is still hope. He doesn't see it right now, but he will by the end of the episode. And so these guys get rid of the bears, and then all of a sudden, Rudy sticking his ear to the ground. What's going on? This guy's a genius. This little dude is a prodigy, a magical genius wizard caster. Realizes something's not wrong, and then Baba Booey, look at that. Black grizzly bears show up, and they're all covered in mud too. I have no idea what them being covered in mud does. I guess it makes it so that they can't really get exploded all that well. But you know, in the middle of this being swarmed by bears, he gives up, and Suzanne runs in to save his life. And honestly, the fight scene here, I really like the fight scene here. We're gonna show her running in, but I really like the fight scene. They show a lot of cool stuff happening. You know, there's a lot of sword fighting. I really thought someone was gonna die. I thought someone was gonna die, but that is not the case. We have people surviving. We have her headshotting bears. I mean, it's all really good stuff. And this scene right here where he heals her as she's careening across the battlefield. Everyone are really fighting, and they're really taking out some of these bears too. She's shooting them in the eye. He's stabbing them like. Where's the scene? There we go. That scene of her stabbing a bear straight in the throat. Like, these guys are going ham. And Rudy, in the middle of battle, he watches. It's like, oh yeah. He's like, I remember. Like, I fight because I want to live. Because there are other people around me, and this is what I live for. This is what I die for. So he saves this girl from the bears using a big epic fireball. A big fireball. And it's so big you can see it. It's so big they have to cut to an ultra wide shot for you to see it. Really good stuff here. So they pelt the bears, go back into town. Can I just say, I really hate the way townspeople act in anime. This is what it's like in Japan. Do people roll into town and just fucking hate on you? Our town's just full of haters in Japan? But that's what it seems like. It seems like these towns are full of haters. Because they come in after doing this job that nobody else wanted to do. And people start complaining. But then all of a sudden they buy them drinks and everybody's nice and friendly all of a sudden. Oh, we like these guys. Yeah. I just hate that trope. So I wish people would be a little bit more congratulatory. So Rudy gets some well-deserved praise. And then I like the scene of him lighting his fire from the window. I almost thought it was his sister for a second. And then we have this scene right here. I've forgotten about living seriously. Because like we said, Rudy has always kind of just viewed this as like an excursion. He was a 30-year-old man, he's a boy now. And he's always just kind of been like, he's held on to a lot of stuff from the past. A lot of less than desirable traits from the past. And a lot of things that we really should be moving on with in life. One of those is being a little pervert. So, oh, whoops. Give me 1 sec. But yeah, Rudy, this reminds me of a meme I've been saying a lot in my life lately. Of that scene in Succession when Logan Roy, season 4, he's talking to his kids and he's like, I love you, but you are not serious people. And, you know, the seriousness, the intent, the want to live. Rudy has always just kind of been like, I don't want to say coasting, but he kind of was. He was back in his old ways. He didn't leave the house very often, and now he's a big, strong man. He's thrown away. He's thrown away his childhood, his boyhood, basically. This is the scene where Rudy basically becomes a man. Where, yes, he loses his family, but he doesn't have access to his family anymore, but he still not only has himself, but there are other people out there. There are other people who support him, and there's still a life worth living. They still want him, they still want to be with him, and if they had a choice, they would all still be together. And that is the thing about life, is that even when we are far from our loved ones, they're still with us in spirit. Shout out to them. Shout out to Mushoku Tensei for delivering such a powerful episode of remembrance and just self-reflection. Rudy, you know, he didn't have a life now. He let it wither all away and waste up. So now he's got to fight to protect this one, and that's something I think we can all get behind. Speaking of fighting to protect what you have, or rather after you lose everything, the next special episode is going to be Zom 100, Bucket List of the Dead. And basically, there's not a lot to say about the show, except it is cinematic as hell. I mean, the fact that more than almost half this episode is presented within a different aspect ratio. Most of this episode has that widescreen aspect ratio. This makes everything feel so much more cinematic, and we really see it, because a lot of places, a lot of shows will do a one episode thing and not really do a good job of communicating the emotions we're supposed to see. This job does an excellent job at communicating everything about how this guy started a dream job working with, basically he's the guy, when somebody wants to make a commercial, he's the guy they call to find people for the commercial, basically. So he's agency, as we see like later on there was one of the script people wants to add one of the people wants to add his grandson. We need you to add a kid to the script, which happens later on. So this guy's whole job is just managing people, and the first night, this is great. So the first day he meets this hot chick. You know, everyone goes out for a little drink. You know, they're all chatting, having a good time, and he's like, man, I could really start my life here and see myself working here and really have a good time. And then say, you're waiting for the twist to happen too. And 5 minutes into the episode, alright, we're going back to the office, and everybody gets up and they leave. And the way that they show office culture is crazy, because all the coffee is sold out, and people are like, oh, you have a bloody eyeball? You stare at the computer so much your eyeballs turn bloody? Tell me when that happens to you 17 times. Like, oh, you passed out from dehydration 18 times? Those were rookie numbers, chump. I'm already in my high 50s. Like, the way the show just shows the depression of the work life, and how true it is for a lot of people to finally start a job that they're so excited about, and then realize the management is horrible, the coworkers have a really toxic environment they live in. Even the girl you like, where is it? Even the girl you like is banging your boss. The girl you like is banging your boss. She's a CEO mistress. No wonder she's at the company for so long, because she's making bank, and all has to do is give it up a little bit. And in a society like Japan, when that's that's kind of a solid deal. I mean, she's got career security, not going to be depressed. And then, so most of the episode, a lot of the episode eventually goes from color to just black and white once his depression era starts. And that's why the colors in this show really pop. I think they do this so that when you're first introduced to, and you kind of see it in here, that's black and white, it works really well, because he's not even seeing the world in color. And so he's not even seeing everything around him like how he's supposed to. And so that works when he's coming in, and the zombie is wearing red, blue, and green. Obviously, the red is blood. Surprisingly though, the blue and green is also blood. This thing does a really fun job, a really fun thing with the blood, where I'm not sure if it's ranked by freshness or what, but basically the blood is just a bunch of different colors. And I think visually, that does a lot to enhance the show and make it stand out a little bit. Because if it was all red, and it almost helps get around the senses a little bit too. Because then it's just all paint. Instead of blood, it's all paint now. It's all just paint. They're all like graffitied up zombies now. And then like as he's running and he sees an airplane, literally, I mean, this shot is literally beautiful. This is amazing. He realizes like, I don't have to go to work anymore. I have to be free. Such a powerful commentary on the Japanese society and even just America in whole like. If there was a zombie apocalypse, I would be stoked to not have to worry about money anymore. Like the first thing I'm gonna do is like stock up some power and start a little militia and run this gang, you know? So I spent a long time talking about Mushoku Tensei, but I think it's all worth it. But this show is still just beautiful too. This show just looks good. It's so cinematic. There's a really nice running scene. Where is it? There's a really nice scene where when he first starts running from the zombies. Honestly, the whole thing of him running is kind of amazing. Yeah, this scene right here. This like the universe just like comes together all of a sudden, and it's like flashing between real life and then it zooms out into the earth, and like the sun stuff, and zooms back in on him, and it's all cool stuff. I really like the design. The parkouring in the show is great. They mentioned that he used to play rugby too, so that explains a lot of his athleticism. And this right here, this shot, I mean, look at that. That is just so creative and fun, and just there's so much energy. You can tell they're having so much fun with this show. They're having a great time animating the show, and it really shows. And honestly, I'm having a great time watching it because the first episode was honestly really great. One of the best first openings I've seen. And then the scene where he quits his job. Bro quits his job while his boss is like literally quivering in front of him, doing the Scooby-Doo run, whoop, 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 trying to go get him. And he literally tackles him out the window. And we have a little like sports parody scene here. Like, yeah, you can do it. Get the touchdown. And he just splatters. He splatters and it's hilarious. It looks like his toupee or something fell off too. Maybe that's his skull. I don't know. But then we get to the sad part. And honestly, shout out to her for even like deciding to wear like an actual like, what is this? Lace dress nightgown. Like she's really loyal. I mean, she's dead now, obviously, but like the fact that like the boss was pulling up and she was showing up and stuff like that, like loyal. Too bad she's dead. Bro was able to get over his crush. And then he finally is able to start living his life. So he's like, hey, I'm going to make a list of things I want to do before I die. 100 things to do. And it's good show. Jolly good show. I'm really enjoying it. Hyped to see what happens next. Very definitely hyped to see this. Because this show, I mean, it's beautiful. It's amazing. It is honestly, genuinely, like a beautiful show. Like, and even the backgrounds are great, the colors are great, the palettes are great, the way they work with lighting is great, the camera angles are great, saturation of the show, and I think the philosophy of the show, especially, very fun, very cool, very relatable. I think it's probably one of the most relatable shows we have seen in a while. So, if going to work makes you feel like a zombie and you want to just escape through a zombie apocalypse, this is definitely the show for you. Y'all should definitely check out Zom 100 if you haven't already. Thanks for watching my review. Thanks for watching this video. And if you guys like it and have more shows you want me to watch, leave a comment of what show. And I'm going to spoil something for you right now. We are going to be checking out Masamune-kun's Revenge eventually. So thanks for watching, y'all. Have a beautiful day. And I will see you guys in the next video.